Okay guys, so today you're gonna see me work my Today you're gonna see me work my two 1-year-old dogs. They're relatively inexperienced. This is really their first big road trip with us. To top it all off, we're in Banff, Alberta here, and it's beautiful, but it's also really hot. We're going through a heat wave right now, 40 degrees, just killer heat right now. So we're walking along the river. I'm going to be working on their overall obedience, keeping them nice and tight, giving them a mixture of free time, and then also asking them to be obedient. And you're going to kind of see how I work them through that. It's not going to be perfect, but I don't expect them to be perfect at this age and with this level of experience. So you guys are going to see me reward them. You're going to see me correct them. You're going to see me remind them. You know, just realistic stuff. So we're just going to kind of do it like that. And I got my family here with me too, so you're going to see them doing silly stuff too. All right. As you can see, hey, that went well. I didn't even see that guy coming, so, you know, that's good stuff right there. All right, so off we go. Gage, Dizzy with me. Gage. Come here. Gage. Come here. We're going to do that again. Down. Down. So as you can see, that didn't go well, so I'm going to make him do that again, and I'm going to put the electric to him if he does the wrong thing this time. Gage, Dizzy, with me. Good. It could be just distracted by all the family members around. But Canine.ca.
Shield Canine.
But I'm in Ontario.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Okay, too bad.
Up to me now. So as you can see, guys, these are young dogs. They're only a year old. So I'm doing the work necessary to ensure that they're going to be super tight by the time they're 2 years old. So you're going to see me reward them more than you see me reward maybe dogs that you see in the past on my channel. You know, like my two Malinois that I was doing all this stuff with. We're actually in the exact same location that I did a lot of that work with my last two Malinois, Bastion and Nova. So you're going to see me reward these guys more, remind them more, and correct them more if necessary. They're both a little bit more antisocial. So she's a little more like nervy, a little bit sensitive. Sometimes she gets weirded out by stuff. He's a little bit more naturally defensive. So what I'm doing to get them super tight is I'm taking them through all of this stuff. I'm putting them to work. I'm rewarding them. I'm correcting them. I'm just making sure they're super good at all of it. Down. You can see a little bit slow, right? That's okay. With me. And off we go. Do well for free time. Break. So there you go. We'll get some free time now. Let them drink, cool off if they can, and then I'll call them back into the obedience. Gage has been struggling a bit on the transitions to the obedience, so that's something that I'm going to work on with him. Just sometimes if he's a little bit excited, he'll jump into something else. He likes to just kind of go. Like he doesn't even know where he's going, he just goes, you know? So that's something I got to put a little pressure on him for and kind of ask him to be a little bit better than what he's been. So I'm ready now for him. Gage, with me. Right there. You saw it? I said with me. What did he do? He went for the water. And now I'm going to break him again and we'll do it again. Break. Gage, with me. That's better. Break. See, I like that transition. That transition was much higher quality. So that was exactly what I'm looking for. Gage, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. And I'm not gonna, you can see the river's kind of going a little bit fast. Show them the river. You can see the river's going a little bit fast, so I actually have to be careful letting them in the river. So you can see that with Dizzy, I actually don't correct her ever, really. I just remind her, because 99.9% of the time that's good enough for her. Believe it or not, I actually spend more time training Gage, but he's just much more of a primal dog. He just does whatever he wants, and he's very driven and he's very resilient. guys, so you can see with that, he got a big correction there. I don't know if you guys caught it, maybe not on the video, but if you didn't catch it, he did get a significant correction because he drifted on me 3 times. I warned him, and that's the thing. If you ever want to get away from nagging your dog, once the dog knows, you do need to be kind of a little bit ruthless in holding the dog accountable. Just as you reward, hey, good, right? Just as you reward, you must also correct. Otherwise, you will end up with nothing. Watch out, there's something behind you. Good.
They see me.
So the other thing I didn't mention, all right guys, we're here at the farmer's market. So I'm gonna get some really good practice in at the farmer's market. Now, I expect that they're gonna be a little looser in there. Now, I've had to, just because of the laws here, I don't wanna upset people, right? It's just so crowded. I've put leashes on, but they're just hooked into my belt loop there. So you can see, you know, there's really no pressure on the leash. It's just there. And really, again, they're young, a little bit inexperienced, so down, I have no problem, you know, putting the leash on there a little bit and just extra piece of safety just until they're where I need them to be. So we're gonna kind of go into the farmer's market. We're gonna see how they do. The heat and everything, she's getting a little down. Him on the other end. Gage, come here. Down. With me. Sorry, we had a little bike coming by. I'm just going to keep him in a heel until we come around the bend. So we had a little problem with the Dizzy. She keeps putting her head down and smelling the ground. I'm not going to correct her for that. Right now she's, the heat and everything is just a lot for her. I can see that she's kind of at her limit. So I'm not going to put more pressure on her beyond verbal reminders. With him, he needs more pressure. This is one thing, when you're working your dogs, you got to recognize, what are you dealing with? You can see with this guy, it doesn't take much to get him up, right? With her, right? I got to keep her up. Yeah, buddy, right? Like, you got to do this kind of stuff with her. Break. So, it's really important, Gage, to be able to recognize what you're working with and deal with it appropriately. So Gage, for whatever reason, I got him next to this field here. Show them the field. Gage, get out of the river. There you go. And just amped up, super amped up. Everything's amping him up. So I'm actually being harder on him and bringing him down, making him work harder. And I'm just trying to kind of keep her with me and encourage her. They're polar opposites in terms of the kind of dog that you know, that I'm working here. Like, because Gage is, he's a super tail dog, but he's also a very naturally reactive dog, very reactive to the environment. You can see on the mark sometimes, instead of marking up and engaging with me, he's actually marking down and trying to engage with the environment on the mark. So it's telling you where his mind is at, what he's perceiving to be the most rewarding thing. Dizzy, when I mark, she's engaging upwards, right? But different, very different mental attitudes. So you have to be aware of these things. So I'm going to keep working them a little more. I'm going to do things with Gage. Dizzy, with me. Good. I'm going to do things like where I make them do right turns. Stuff like this. Because it really kind of makes him think a little bit. He has to put his butt back. Break. Focus on the dogs. And then I'll make him down. Break. Down. Break. And So sometimes I'm in a situation where I need to situate the dogs while I'm doing something. So this is where I practice kind of generalizing the place command for them. Place. And I practice sending them to different places. Dogs stay on the place until they're, you know, given the command to come off. And then I'll just transition them right from coming off into another behavior like a heel. And again, these transitions are important because I work the behaviors in isolation first. I get them really good, but then I really start practicing transitions from the place to the heel, from the break to the down, you know, from the down to the sit, and so on and so forth. And then the dogs become super tuned in. But it's something that you have to really practice with them, because if you don't practice it, then you see the behavior starting to decline. So right now I'm going to go from this place command right into the heel, and I'm going to watch Gage, because he's the one I think might give me some trouble over this. So there's going to be a consequence for him if he doesn't do it, because I know it's not a question of him not knowing. For him, it's a question of him being distracted and overly fixated on the environment. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that as we go. Gage, Gizzy, with me. Good. That went pretty well. I'm happy with that.